Hello, everyone. My name is Imo Gerald, Community Manager for Damage BDD. In my previous episode, I talked about Damage BDD and how it affects developers and non-developers. So I'm starting a new episode today. This is the part one of the episode, which starts from BDD itself, and it will end with BDD for damage. Now, the agenda for this episode, part one, is understanding BDD. Part two, understanding BDD in test automation. Part three, best practices of BDD and test automation. So, what is BDD? Behavior driven development, BDD, is an agile software development methodology. Very simple. An application is documented and designed around the behavior a user expects to experience when interacting with it. Now, before any software is being built, the visionary or the owner of a particular software has a way he wants his or her software to behave or when handling a particular task. So, as we progress, you are going to really enjoy this program because I've taken my time down to break it down to its simplest form. So, by encouraging developers to focus only on the requested behavior of an app or program, BDD helps to avoid bloats, excessive code, unnecessary features, or lack of focus. This methodology combines, augments, and refines the practices used in test-driven development and acceptance testing. Why BDD? So one of the reasons why most organizations choose to run BDD, number one, customer-driven product development. So by considering customers' feedback early and adopting the agile methodology, behavior-driven development ensures a highly efficient and customer-driven product that not only meets but exceeds customer requirements. Secondly, proper prioritization of features. Prioritization of product features play a crucial role in software development. For instance, critical features of a music streaming app are video, audio streaming quality, device compatibility, and user controls, to name a few. Similarly, core features exist for every product that determines how effective the product will be in delivering what it promises. Features that offer more business critical solutions can be implemented, tested, and delivered first. Take note, features that offer more business critical solutions can be implemented, tested, and delivered first. So, I believe in my next slide, we should end why BDD. Then I get to explain some things that I know you might not understand because I'm trying to make sure that this is not totally theory. So the third is greater transparency. Transparency is the key to success of any product development approach, especially if a collaborative stance is taken. Behavior driven development ensures greater visibility of the system features so that all the developers, testers, business stakeholders, and other team members can clearly understand what is being developed and whether the features can match the specific set of requirements or not. 4. Reduce maintenance and project risks. For any product development, certain risks are involved, such as the, the chances of inefficient feature development, product feature failure, compatibility issues, redevelopment costs and time, and others. By opting for a behavior driven development approach, organization can minimize the risks associated with software development. 5. Better alignment with overall business goal. At this development approach emphasis as this development approach emphasizes the behavior of each feature, details about what purpose they serve, how well it fits in the current market. Then, so why damage BDD? I've given about 5 points why choose damage BDD. So I my previous episode I said running a feature, a BDD feature is, it comes in plain English, where if I go through what you express while writing in your feature, I get to understand easily that this is what you want, and you get to see if your feature is successful. And now, when you run a particular feature and you get your outcome, as a developer, I look at your feature and I get to understand that, okay, this is what you are actually looking for, and I work in line with what you want your outcome to be. So when we run our first test, you will see how it is very easy to run a damage a sorry, not a damage, a BDD test here. We've not gotten into damage yet, so when we introduce damage, because apart from damage there are other products that support BDD testing. I wouldn't want to list them, but I could just say one, which is Cucumber. That's one of the products that supports BDD testing. So damage now is far better, but we'll get to that point. Now, how, this is another topic, how. So behavior driven development revolves around conducting behavior specific tests or functional specifications that outline executable scenarios for the application. This includes applying the five whys principle or if then scenario to generate user stories and clearly relate application feature to a business purpose. Identifying a single outcome for every behavior, translating each scenario into domain specific language DSL to ensure accurate communication, gathering all behavior into one set of documentation so it is accessible for all developers, testers, and stakeholders. So when you get to run your tests, which basically it's written in your basic, English, and you get the outcome and you predict how you want your software to be, how you want it to be, how you want it to react. So it's easier to get those to get your test into a documentation and share it across to everybody, because not everyone is a technical staff. Those that are in the technical staff will understand your test, and those that are non-technical will understand because it's written in plain and simple English. So let's continue. So from here, this is a pattern of BDD development process. So first of all, the product owner and users have a conversation about what they need. Then they take it to the product. The product owner, developer, and tester elaborate the requirements together. They define the requirements as structured scenarios. When we run an example, you see how features, scenarios, and every other data is very, very important when running a BDD test. Now, from the owner, from the product owner, developer, and testers, they push it down. The scenario guides the developer and acts as automated tests. The tester uses this scenario as the basics for their tests. Then you get the end product. So it's a very simple process. First of all, like I said earlier, it comes from just one person or two people having an idea of what they want to do. So instead of calling a developer on the phone, or calling your stakeholders and say, okay, this is what I want, and that's all. You gather your developer, yourself, and your tester. You run a scenario. At the end of your scenario, at the end of your test, you put it in form of a document and you share it across to everybody. So everybody now has a written note to show, okay, this is the step-by-step process and this is the expected outcome that you are looking for. Let's continue. Now, advantages of BDD. Key advantages of BDD. Number one, customer driven product development. Number two, proper prioritization of features. Number three, greater transparency. Number four, reduce maintenance and project risks. Number five, better alignment with overall business goal, which is the same thing I explained in previously. Let's continue. So the video is going to be it's going to be a little short. I don't want it to be too long so that you don't get confused. It's going to be short, and we'll be doing just two examples for part one. We have about three parts. This is just the first part one, which talks more about BDD itself. Part two will dive more into writing BDD features for BDD features and scenarios. Then part three will explore other options where BDD is being used, not just for damaged BDD, for other products. Then we compare how which is the best. So this part one is just BDD. Part two will consist of a whole lot of testing. Then part three will be a comparison of damaged BDD and other platforms that supports BDD testing. So let's continue. So the behavior-driven development process is based on three critical approaches. First, test-first approach, which is a critical stage. The test-first approach is focused on testing the product at the right time to ensure how efficient it is in real time. I'll repeat. The first test, the test-first approach is focused on testing the product at the right time to ensure how efficient it is in real time. The test-first approach eliminates traditional development and testing limitation, where many loopholes or issues get noticed after the product final launch. So it's something that if you implement it very well, your product gets the best out of it. So you write a test ahead of what you want, how you want your product to be, how you want your product to perform, and your developer build something in that direction instead of him building something and coming in for a demo and changes are being made consistently. But as far as there is a BDD test that shows, okay, this is what I want and this is how I want it to be done, this is how the behavior I want it to have, the developer work with those data and bring in the result. So the second most critical approaches is agile testing approach. One of the critical factors that distinguish behavior driven development from other conventional development method is its unique testing approach. So instead of following the traditional build, test and fix errors procedure, it focuses on agile testing. Agile testing is based on the famous iterative development and testing methodology, where particular emphasis is put on the collaboration between customers and team. So it stands as a, should I how should I put it? So it stands as a platform where a customer and the team can work together and they understand each other. So agile testing, as a result, customers' perspectives are considered during the development and testing process. So you see how easy the whole processes are. Agile testing is a prime approach in the behavior driven development process, since not only does it build its foundation but helps optimize time, cost, and resources, and shorten the feedback response time, while minimizing the requirement for documentation. Now the third one, built-in quality approach. Behavior driven development adheres to a built in quality approach which ensures that the end product has all the required features and solution and fits the current market. It is not enough to have a set of features and solutions, but it should be market driven and customer centric. Behavior driven development looks after this aspect of ensuring competitive product development that accommodates every requirement of end users. So you will get to understand this while following all the videos and content I'm going to drop. So you get to see how BDD helps a particular product to gain market value. It's a very easy and a simple process. All you need to do is follow the videos that we posted on the YouTube channel for Damesh BDD. Now, let's dive in. Discovery phase, where the acceptance criteria are researched and decided. Now, this is the first stage where the acceptance criteria are researched and decided. Generally, the product manager actively participates in behavior driven development discovery phase. Generally, the product, oh, I think that is a mistake, but never mind. So, in this stage, the acceptance criteria are crafted based on product type, key feature, target audience, present market, and other factors, which is basically how every organization operates. So you need to look at, number one, the type of product you want to bring into the market, the features of those products, the audience you are looking for, and the present market. Because not every product actually needs everybody. Some products need, just a particular set of people. Take for example, product that monitors, that are in the medical field. Probably you have um, heartbeat test and something, or something that could help you, reduce cholesterol and the rest. So it's not generally for everybody. It needs a particular audience that are in need of that product at that time. The next one is formulation phase. The formulation phase is mainly relevant when a backlog item is just about to get implemented. The primary purpose of this phase is to ensure that the acceptance criteria are confirmed and ready to be applied in real time. Acceptance test is the formulation phase. In the formulation phase, execute this part. The purpose of acceptance testing is to run quality assurance methods to determine whether an application or product is as per the requirements. Now, if you notice, I've mentioned acceptance testing um, in the previous slide, but let's continue. I believe you you are following me. So automation phase. So we had the discovery phase, we have the formulation phase, now the automation phase. This phase automates the process of acceptance tests. It optimizes the time taken and resources used while ensuring that the required outputs are obtained and criteria are matched. In this phase, In this phase of BDD, acceptance tests get automated and run continuously to validate and ensure that the new pattern or behavior are compatible with the system. Now, there is a feature that is in the damage PDD platform. Let me show you. There is a feature in the damage BDD platform, and the feature is generally okay. Yeah, I think it's here. So The schedule feature, it's still being worked on, which I think in few days it should be settled. And I'm going to make a special video on how to add schedule and what to do and how important it is in the Damage BDD platform. I would have said it now, but once it's completed, I will make a separate video for schedule. So, but for now, let's focus more on BDD since this video is made for behavior driven development. So, after the automation phase, we have Jenkins. The Jenkins syntax consists of a set of lines called steps and comes with an additional structure dedicated to offering a simple learning curve even to non-technical persons and non-programmers. The rest and the central part of Jenkins syntax are in the form of plain text. Now, Damage BDD is built with Jenkins. That's uh, one of the tools that are being used to build Damage BDD. Remember, I told you when running a BDD test, you make use of your plain text. So the main focus of the Jenkins syntax is not only to highlight the specific intention of an example and test, but to use an accurate description to portray fundamental business rules. Some of the most prominent examples of behavior-driven development with Jenkins syntax are used with the following keyword. In the next slide, these are the keywords. So when running a BDD test, you call a feature, you write a feature. So feature, it is used to describe a software feature. In my example, I'm going to show you scenario. This denotes the behavior of the system. A scenario describes various patterns such as events, required results, initial context, and others. Background. The background refers to the context and background of the system with a specific set of features and solution. So while I'm reading that, this is one of my tests, which it's for login. So you see, I start with what we call with feature. So the feature of this test is for user login. And if you remember very well, in the previous slide where I explained what feature is all about, secondly, you see scenario, successful login with valid credential. So feature user login. As a registered user, I want to log into my account so that I can access my personal dashboard. Scenario, successful login with valid credentials. Given I am using the server, this. I'm I'm going to explain all this very soon. Very soon I'm going to explain all this. So let's go back to Chrome. So this is the text area for writing your features. So you start with feature, start with feature, then okay, let me type, then put a colon in front of it, keep space, then user login, so I'm going to explain this far better very soon. So let's go back to Jenkins keywords and breaking them down into something you will likely understand. Okay, So you have, I talked about background, talked about okay, scenario outline. The scenario outline implies the outline of the system behavior, especially in the case of multiple scenarios. Example Examples denote various factors relevant to BDD, such as features, solutions, functionalities, and others. Given, when, then, and but. These are steps. So these denote various steps, conditions, and relations between the steps. You have strings, which is called the doc strings. It denotes strings of documents. Data table represents data stored in table. At, which is a tag, this refers to a various elements of the behavior driven development process. Hash stands for comment. So comments convey essential and additional information relevant to behavior driven programming. I'm going to show you how the comment looks like, how the comment works. So now let's go into our first example. Feature user login. Remember what the feature does. Feature, it is used to describe a software feature. So I'm trying to describe what this I want my software to do when a user logs in. So as a registered user, I want to log into my account so that I can access my personal dashboard. Scenario: successful login with valid credentials. So given, remember what scenario does. Scenario, this denotes the behavior of the system. A scenario describes various patterns such as events, required results, initial context, and others. Now, scenario: successful login with valid credentials. Now, remember the feature is about login. Now the first scenario is a successful login with a valid credential. So now, given, these are the steps I want to take to have a successful login when with a valid credential. Remember, the feature is for a user to log in. Then the scenario denotes and shows a successful login when a valid credential is being presented. And these are the steps a user should take to have a successful login so that he can have access to his personal dashboard. So scenario: successful login with valid credential. Given I am using the server http://run.damagedbdd.com, and I have a registered account with email user@example.com. When I enter my email user@example.com and I enter my password, secure password 123, and I click the login button, then I should be redirected to my dashboard and I should see a welcome message. Welcome back, user, and my session should be active for 24 hours. Now, it's this this test is very simple and easy to understand because it's written in plain text. So given it's saying given I am using this server http run.damagedbdd.com, which is the website for damage BDD. So take for example, let's go to damage BDD. So let's go to damage BDD. So this is damage BDD. So it's saying that if I come to damage BDD, or if any users come to damage BDD, I'm already logged in. So for you that is a new user watching this video, if you want to log into damage BDD and you come to damage BDD platform, that is run.damagedbdd.com, to run series of tests, so that when you come, the first thing you need to do is, from here, given I am using this server and I have a registered account with email, so I have already registered, meaning I have already signed up on the damage BDD platform, and I impute this email in the box section for email. So take for example, let me log out. Okay, log out. Yes, so take for example, this is the interface. This is the dashboard. This is the interface for login. So given I am using this server run.damagedbdd.com, and I have a registered account with email. So my email, which is here, is imo@gmail.com. When I enter my email, which is imo@gmail.com, and I enter my password, I can't say my password, and I click the login button, then I should be redirected to my dashboard. So you are telling the developer to create a system that if I have access to if I am using this server run.damagedbdd.com, and I have a registered account with this email, when I enter my email and I enter my password, which is correct, and I click login, which is this button, when I click this login, I should be given access to this dashboard. This is my dashboard. Why this is my dashboard is because whatsoever data that is contained in this dashboard are activities that I have run using my own email. And remember, it's all recorded on chain. So if you scan your wallet address, you will see series of activities if you've done any in the blockchain, recorded in the blockchain. Now, then I should be redirected to my dashboard, and I should see a welcome message, welcome back user. Now, for this software, there is no welcome message. There is no welcome message. So this BDD test is not for damage BDD. So this line is not supposed to be here because there is no welcome message, and my session should be active for 24 hours. So I'm indirectly telling the developer that okay, if any user sign up with a correct login credential, that the user should be redirected to his or her dashboard, and there should be a welcome message. Probably your name is Daniel, so welcome Daniel, and my session should be active for 24 hours. So everybody that logs into his or her dashboard, he should have access to his dashboard for 24 hours, then re-log in again. Now, I created another scenario for failed login with invalid password. Now, given I am on the login page, remember the login page is this server http this, and I have a registered account with this. When I enter my email this, and I enter an incorrect password, and I click the login button, then I should see an error message, invalid credential, and I should remain on the login page, and my account should not be logged in. I don't know if you are following. It's very simple. It's self-explanatory. I think you don't even need me to explain this test for you, this BDD feature for you, because as a developer, you've gotten this feature. It's very easy for you to understand and implement what is being written here. They are telling you to provide us this login format. So if you go to do something that is not being asked here, it is it's just on you. Now, because you are going to have a lot of problems, you've been given a test, a feature. I want my login platform to behave like this when a user implements or imputes a wrong credential or a correct credential. This is the outcome I am looking for. So let me give you the second example from the Damage BDD platform, from the Damage BDD page. So let's find an example. So let's go to Damage BDD website itself. So Damage BDD believe it should be loaded here. Okay, so damagebdd.com. Let's allow it. Let's give it a little time to load. I'm not going to cut the video, so we should have it should have the patience to allow it to load. So I believe, okay, so it's opened. Now let's find a test in the manual section. Let's find a test in the manual section. Yep. So let's go to manual. Alright. So I'm going to run a random test. So running a test. So now that you have an account and a barrier token, let's write and run a simple test using checking syntax. I'm going to copy this to the Damage BDD platform, since I represent Damage BDD. So I'm pasting this here. Before I run this test, I'm going to explain what this test does and the expected outcome of this test. So feature, HTTP test feature. Now, this test is to check that this web service accepts a request, receives some data, creates something successfully, and send back the same data as confirmation. So think of it like filling out a form online and making sure the website saves it correctly and show you what you entered. That is what this test is all about. So I'm going to explain this test in plain English so you get to understand that it's not complicated as it seems. Now, so feature, HTTP test feature. So this is just a title. It says this set of tests is about testing HTTP, which is a web request. That is what the feature is all about. Sorry. Sorry about that. Then you have the scenario test post JSON. This name this name this this names the specific test, which means we are sending we are we are testing data to a server. So it means we are actually sending a data, which is a JSON here. We are actually sending a data to a server. So given I am using HTTP, which is the Damage BDD platform, what this tells the test that this is the website, which let's say the server we are talking to. Like saying I'm going to send my request to this particular address, which is the run.damagebdd.com. And I set a content type header to application. That is line 4, right? 1, 2, 3. That's line 4. The data I'm sending is in a JSON format. Is in a JSON format. So in a real life term, it's like writing to an envelope. This letter is written in English. That is what you are trying to say. And I set content type header to application to /JSON, which means the data I'm sending is in JSON format. The same way you are writing a letter and you are writing the letter in the envelope, that this letter is being written in English. So this content or whatever I'm sending is written in a JSON format. Now, when I make a post, line 5, this is the main action. When I make a post, This means send some data to the server and ask it to create something. So it means I'm sending some data to the server and I'm asking it to create something. So the post request is commonly used when you want to add or create data, not just read it. So when you are providing a post request, when you are sending a post request, it means you want to add or you want to create data, not just you reading it. Now let's continue. I'm trying to make sure I explain it very, 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 very well. So this is the data that is being sent. Echo colon test. So in text, so I'm sending a message saying echo is equal to test. That is the message I'm sending to my recipient or to. Remember now I'm posting it, so it means I am expecting a reply. Then the response must be 200, that's 201, which is what I am expecting. So this checks the server's reply. Now 201 in this term is in a technical term means it is successful. So it shows successful that something was created. Now this step confirms that the server accepted the request and created the data correctly. Now you have the part, the line 11 I believe. Then the response status must be 201, which I have explained. You have the 12. Then the JSON at path.echo must be test. This checks the response content. It means in the reply from the server, find the value called echo and make sure it says test. Remember, we sent a request. We posted a request saying that echo should be equal to test. Then we are expecting a response that when this request goes, it should validate it and so it's okay. We now made another request. Then the JSON at path echo must be test. It means that the value of echo must be test. So we must make sure that echo is test. So the server sends back the same value we gave it. Remember we sent echo to be test. So it means that the server should send back the same value, which must be test. So it's very, very simple to understand. So let me give you a real life experience. I think a real world experience. So, yeah, should I call it? Anyways, so imagine ordering food online. You choose the restaurant, which is the server. So you tell them the order format. So remember, you are ordering food in a restaurant. The restaurant is the address, which is the server, which stands for the run.damagedbdd.com. You tell them the order format. Now the order format is the kind of data you are sending, which is the JSON. You place the order. Placing the order is post, is the past of when I make a post. So now you are placing the order. You send your order details. Your order details is echo colon test. And they send you back a reply. Order placed successfully. That means then the response must be. So if you have placed your order, you should get a response from them if this particular order actually exists. You should get a response from them saying your order has been placed successfully. Here's what you ordered. So the first then shows that your order is being successful. The second then shows that this is what you ordered. Remember, what you ordered was echo is equal to test. So your second then is now showing that okay, that this is what you ordered, which is the test, which is very, very simple to understand. So that is like the real world analogy of this test, which I have made sure I have taken my time to explain these 12 lines of text to its simplest form. And I'll be doing a whole lot of videos and other tests, so you yourself you can make use of damage BDD to run a test, so you don't need to be explaining to your developers every day that this is what you want them to do, this is what you want them to do, this is how you want it to do, debugging up and down. Just write a simple test. This is how you want your software to behave. The developer takes a picture, takes a look at your feature, and say, okay, no problem. I'm building this whatever I'm going to build with whatever language I'm going to use. You can also write the kind of language you want your software to be built in. Your developer's job is to go through this, work with what you've given to him or her, that's the feature, which is very, very nice. You can also share this to your stakeholders. Your stakeholder will go through it and say, okay, this is fine, this is cool, what should we do? Now, let's execute this feature. All right, feature HTTP feature scenario test post JSON. So given I am using server is successful. So it's showing successful because your test has been successfully run by the damage BDD platform. So it shows that this outcome will work out, has worked out perfectly. And your developer must go through, must work with this outcome. And once your developer is done, you can test what he has done. So this if this server run that damagebdd.com didn't have this feature, you would have seen not found, not found, not found, or you would have seen an error message at where you have the output. Take note, there are a lot of information, which is summary, the feature ID, the reports. So you to get your reports on this platform, you come to activities. Activities will load your entire report, what you have, the things you've done. So it's still loading. Let's give it some time to open up. But while we are waiting for it, so I believe this video is simple. I believe it's easy to understand, and I believe it's simple. So look at this. So this is the HTTP feature. This is where you get your report. Now the amount of damage used to run this is just 10 damage, which is 0.00000 something dollar. Very cheap. 10 damage is 1 damage is 0.0015 or 11. I don't know the current rate. I think it's 1.5. So if you have up to 100 damage, which is likely, I think not up to not more than $1 or $2, you could run series of tests and have your results very, at a very easy process. You understand? So instead of going back and forth with your developer, you can literally run a damage BDD test, send the report to your developer. Your developer goes through the report and know what to do, and at the end of the day build your system with the behavior driven development that you had given to him, and everybody goes back home happy. So it's a very nice platform, damage PDD, I mean, to go through, and it's something that you need to have. So In our next video, I'm going to do, I will go, I think I will do a little bit of schedule, which will be my fourth video, because the next video will be more of the practical part of testing, and I'm going to make sure I reduce the technicality in testing to the lowest, so anybody can run tests, and any technical person can understand the test and work out whatever thing the test wants him to do. So it's very, very simple. So I appreciate everyone. I thank you for, I know you subscribed to my channel, and for those that have subscribed, I really appreciate. More videos and more content will be coming. Please help us share and subscribe. Thank you a whole lot. Bye.